Hey guys, Tbull here. Today we're checking out the other option for this month's campaign. We got a reward ship option conundrum. Black USN Tier 7 destroyer radar. Short-lived radar on that puppy. That's one option. Or Tier 5 American aircraft carrier Independence. Here we got domination mode north. Ends up being a really good carrier game. One of my better ones, in fact. Not that I'm a connoisseur of carriers, but pretty good game, so stay tuned for this. But we're going to briefly go over the ships to start off with. Now, are you going to want the Independence over the Black? Well, you might be saying to yourself, all right, I got plenty of USN destroyers, just got the Summers a little bit ago. Maybe you want to spice things up a little bit. You might just be a carrier player in general. That makes that decision pretty obvious. Go for the Independence. Or maybe you got a bunch of Tier 7 premiums because you do the campaigns, but you don't have a Tier 5. And you want to get some premium supplies action every Sunday, get a few promotion orders out of it. Well, these are all good reasons to get the Independence. Independence, though, overall, pretty strong ship here. Initially, I was going to scout B. I'm going to try and narrate the game just a little bit to give you the setup. But both those battleships weren't really playing at something. And all right, we got guys pushing into C here. Looks good. We're going to push. I drop fighter jet. That guy drops the fighter jet. Good opening, kind of. That's a carrier battle. That's how we fight the planes. You want to drop those fighter jets or the fighter planes in the path of the incoming enemy carriers whenever you see them. And if they fly by your fighter, well, you're going to get several, if not the entire squadron, several planes, if not the entire squadron, shot down. So good, effective counter there. He elects to go into B. I'm just going to go around his fighter plane here. I do want to continue to support the side since this looks like our best option to get some early scoring here. But then all of a sudden, well, we got this guy popping up over here. And one of our primary roles, spot the destroyers, hope our team shoots him. We only got the one battleship to the north there, and he did just shoot just a moment ago. That could potentially attack this guy, but we're going to go ahead and try and reset him here. And he's actually going to be driven through his smoke, and then he's going to attempt to attack us and sink us, in frustration, or to get some revenge from disrupting his play on B here, whatever it is. But it's a pretty good defensive look at here. And we get a little bit of good support from the Queen Elizabeth as well. So as you're watching that unfold, I'm just going to give you a breakdown on the Independence versus the Ranger. Independence basically looks pretty strong across the board in terms of stats. I don't keep track of the carrier itself stats, the ship. Just track the two sets of planes. Here we got torpedo bombers. The Independence has more health, better speed by 9 knots, better detection, 1.5 kilometers shorter, faster restoration, 5 seconds, torpedo damage, a couple hundred more, and the torps 2 knots faster. So no downsides compared to the Ranger in terms of the torpedo bombers. HE bombers, well, the Rangers got a little sturdier. More HP on those guys by about 400, which is quite a bit more than the 100 difference on the HP of the torpedo bombers. So much tougher to shoot down these Ranger bombers, the tech tree bombers. But then, once again, the Independence looks pretty strong overall. Full 9 knots, or knots presumably faster flight speed, extra 2 planes in the squad, which is a full extra strike if you can keep those planes alive. Way better detection, looks like 1.4. A restoration time significantly longer though, 8 seconds. So there are a couple advantages to the Ranger in terms of the HE bombers performance. But the bomb damage, about 300 more on the Independence, and the fire chance, significantly better on the Ranger, about 12. So the HE bombers, you can make a case for either. Having an extra 2 planes, of course, is really nice, but keep in mind we're quite a bit less HP per plane than the Rangers, so the smaller squad is still going to stay alive a little bit longer. So overall, though, pretty good here, and you're going to see some hardy shots here. I think for the HE bombs, it seems when you get a hit, it's usually about 5k damage with a decent chance of hitting the target. The torpedoes, good speed. We got 53, which is among the best. It's kind of the Japanese speed. Only the Vaser at 55 is better at the tier, but there's some significantly slower ones as well. So the torpedoes feel pretty accurate to me. Quick time to target. The bombs we can get quite low. You'll see as we're dropping some of these targets here with the HE bombers. You can get quite low. It doesn't mean you're going to guarantee a hit or not, but it does make it seemingly a lot easier to hit your target. So anyway, we'll jump back into the game here now. We've kind of secured C. For some reason, one of our guys elects to go on the far eastern side of the map. I don't know if he had his thumb up his butt or what he was thinking, but not necessarily a great play. It's going to cost us. We're effectively down a ship. It looks like we're up a ship on the scoreboard, but because one of our battleships isn't really in anywhere relevant and he won't be able to be for about a third of the game, basically we're tied on the score. So having the cap advantage is huge. We're trying to get A, and since we have C, I was thinking, well, maybe I could get the carrier into B. That's pretty risky. I don't want to do that. I was hoping maybe one of our guys from C would come over and get B, so I want to be in a position to support that. But A is kind of where the match is being decided at the moment, at least. It's a heavily contested area, and we're going to see if we can help turn the tide here. The Gorky, we flushed him out. He was just kind of sitting on the island trying to snipe over it. Hit him with some torps, got him moving, and now the rest of the team's responding. I'm hoping they can kill him before he gets too much damage done. The Gorky can be dangerous, but it's relatively easy to sink itself. So got him flushed, and then now we're trying to decide what to do here. It's not looking too good all of a sudden. I mean, once again, it still looks like we're up a ship, but, you know, we got one of our high-tier ships on the far side of the map. So we don't need to harp on them too much, but it's just a really bad play. You should very, very rarely put your ship on the eastern side of the map in this map. If they ever put a fourth gap over there, then fine, go play that side. But as of right now, there's no strategic reason or tactical reason to be over there. So team's kind of melting here. Now we're actually tied. So we got one battleship in relevant position. He's going to be trying to 1v2. They got a destroyer. We got a destroyer who's attempting to capture A. I need to support him, so I'm coming over here as quick as possible. If we get A secured, our chances of winning this game go quite a bit higher, because I'm assuming a battleship that's fighting two battleships is going to die and lose that fight. And this destroyer that we have over here is quite low in health, so... And let's just be honest, we're reading the situation, the game's half over, and he didn't manage to capture the cap. So, how reliable is he? I don't know. I haven't been able to pay attention to what's been going on over here the whole game, but when we're evaluating, okay, what needs to be done to win, we need to take into account past performance, albeit a very small sample size. So, coming over here, we're going to try and drive these battleships off the board, keep that destroyer alive. It looks like he will get the base. And then the correct play for him would be to go on the north side of the islands, try and get into B, see if he can get that. If he could manage to get that third cap, the game would pretty much be unwinnable for Red at that point. If he does something else, then they're still going to have a chance. So the carrier is now attacking our destroyer, which is the correct play for him. He did know where he was because he was capturing the base. If he can get rid of him, that's our scoring piece. They still have their scoring piece, and that allows them much more freedom to flip these caps, capture the middle cap in B, and affect the scoring that way. So I'm still considering getting the carrier on B here. You always want to be thinking about using your carrier as a scoring piece, especially late in the game. But the fact that these ships are all over here, if their carrier flies over me when I'm on B and we get spotted, those two battleships whack me, and that could be basically a throw at that point in time. So there goes the Benson. That's a problem. Now they're officially up in ships. Our wandering battleship is finally in a position where he can shoot after about 7 or 8 minutes of being unable to do anything. It's a bit of a problem, but now that he's back here, well, the 2v1 that the red was enjoying is now briefly a 2v2. The problem is the guy that was weathering the storm, his health is so low, so I'm trying to get as much damage as we can here. We're going to be needing to sink ships to affect the score here. Our win condition is definitely not going to be sink everyone. We're not going to be able to do that. But what we do need to do, we need to win on the score. And if they start flipping caps and then they sink these two battleships, which is what we're assuming when we're planning out how to win this, then we're probably going to lose. So we need to make sure we're getting at least one of these ships, hopefully two, to secure the victory. And you're going to see me constantly repositioning where we want to go. Now I can't be close to these guys. I have to play defensive in terms of my own ship's position because I have to stay alive, right? And this the Bayern, who's been taking a cruise for half the game, now he's decided, okay, now I'm ready for a 2v1. So he would have just, at this point in time, it would have been better just hiding behind C the entire game rather than trying to lose another 100 points for the blue team. And that's basically what it is, a 100-point swing when a battleship goes off the board. That's going to allow red to catch up. Now they're too far behind at this point in time in terms of capturing bases. I don't know what the destroyer's been doing. At this point, I'm starting to think he's probably sailing around the edge of the map looking for me. But he basically needed to be on A more or less right when our destroyer was lost, and then proceed to start affecting the score here. But they're not out of the game yet. Like I said, they get the Byron off the board and then start flipping the caps. Well, then we're still in trouble. So piling on the Strasbourg here, and you can see pretty decent damage every time we hit him. Not bad damage for a carrier game. I know there's some professional flyboys out there that probably put up huge numbers, but a lot of my carrier games are more utility, where we're trying to spot the destroyers mostly, and getting a little bit of damage here and there. This one we're going to wind up with pretty solid grip of damage though. And once again, look how low we can get on these ships. We're doing these dives, pretty easy to hit those ships from there. Finally, the destroyer does get on A. We're noting that. Now we can think about this a couple different ways. Should we go into A and try and counter the destroyer? I don't know what his health situation is. Maybe he's a full health destroyer. Trying to sink him is less reliable in my mind. But it's definitely an option, and it's definitely an option I'm considering strongly as I'm going over here. But the thinking right now is, all right, we got this Byron over here. He's going to be doing some damage. Let's see what he can get done on the New Mexico combined with what I can get done. And if it's enough that it makes sense after the Byron dies that I can reasonably sink the New Mexico over here, then this will be a worthwhile play. If the New Mexico emerges from this fight nearly fully health, then I'm going to leave him alone and go try and prevent the destroyer from getting on B and just harass him that way. So this play only makes sense as long as the Byron's here and he's still doing damage to the New Mexico, because it's going to take me several strikes. Let's say we get perfect hits. We're getting 10,000 per dive bomb. Well, maybe I can get 2 of those off here. So he's roughly killable for a full squadron of HE bombers in my analysis. And after that great shot there, now he's eminently sinkable. So the Byron, despite having a disastrous game due to his own making, he does make a very strong play, which is going to help our team win there at the end. That was a very good job, grievously wounding the New Mexico. So I'm hoping we got him on fire there. I was hoping he'd use his damage count, maybe got secondaried by the Byron or whatever, but that's not the case. He puts that out, desperately trying to get one more hit on him here just so we can turn our attention to the destroyer, who I think at this point in time should probably just be forgetting about B and coming right towards me. He's still got 2.5 minutes, but if he's looking now, this battleship might be too far away in a screen for him to look over and see what the situation is. If he knows how low that battleship is, then he for sure shouldn't be worrying about B. But nevertheless, that's probably not the case. He's probably too far away. We do see now, though, that he does get on B. And this is, we harp on this channel nonstop, capture the base, capture the base, capture the base, until it doesn't make sense. And now it doesn't make sense. Because right now we're tied in the background. It's going to take a good chunk of this minute, good chunk of the remaining time on the clock just to capture the base. And then the points generated, that's 36 per minute. So even if he gets B, it's not going to affect the score. They've now boxed themselves in the corner, which is the result of ignoring the caps for most of the game. You have to sink everyone on the enemy team at that point in time. So don't need to be worrying about B now. You should have been worrying about it 5 minutes ago. But at this point in time, he just needs to beeline it towards me, which is why we've pointed towards the corner of the map. We're trying to make it as hard as possible to get sunk. And in the meantime, we're trying to get one more strike on the New Mexico. Now he realizes what we're trying to do here. He's going to be turning hard. I'm going to continue to try and keep access to his broadside just to make the torp basically unmissable. But he's doing a very good job here, and I'm getting a little impatient. So we're going to drop him once, see if we hit him. If not, we're going to turn right back and try and hit him on the crossfire torpedo shot, which is what you want to be doing with these torpedo bombers when we're attacking battleships. Just go hard in here, really tight turn, and hit it with a 90-degree angle to the best you can. He kind of helps out a little bit here. He's actually turning to the left, unfortunately for him, which is going to make it very tough to miss this final shot here. And in fact, we will, as you'll see in a moment, end up sinking the third ship. But B's been captured. There's still a little bit of time left, and now we're getting some indication. Well, we're still getting attacked by the carriers, so we keep dropping the fighters. But we got our HE bombers, and then there's some shots. And here's the Akatsuki, and he actually was quite low. So had we gone over to A and attempted to counter this guy, we probably would have been able to sink him as well. But I still think grabbing those 200 points off those battleships down south ended up being the play that won this game more reliably. So we go in there for a strike, and we do wind up whacking him slightly, but no damage done there. So he'll wind up living, but he'll come away with an L after that one. So that's a look at the Independence for you guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. New to the channel, consider subscribing. Lots of World of Warships come for all the time. Questions, comments, leave below. Love to hear from you, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.